Welcome back. And so our first conversation this morning bothers on the gale of defections that we've witnessed in the last month or so, with a lot of talk about the motivation for the defections, the consequence of the defection. And of course, we're expanding the conversation a little further. This time around, we're looking at it through the eyes of someone, who is right in the institution that is witnessing mass defection. Of course, we're going to have another, resource person as well. But let's welcome Dr. Midala Balami. He's a Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Communications. He's right there in our Abuja studio. Good morning, Honorable Balami. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Bukola. Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. And we saw yesterday on the floor of the House of Representatives another series of defection with 3 more members moving to the APC. And, it's now become the norm. Time and again, we're seeing defections at the National Assembly. And it seems that, the elected representatives are insensitive to the feelings and the commentary, that is shaping, that is trailing the defections. And of course, the timing of it. Honorable members and indeed senators, processing the feedback, from the public on these defections, and why the seeming insensitivity to the appropriateness of it?
Thank you, Bukola. I think what is really happening right now, I think there is this disconnect and with the representatives and the people we represent. If you check very well, you will find out that the people we represent at our constituency and the deflections are not so much in harmony, because somehow you find out that even some of the people that have deflected, their constituents are not in line with the deflections. But what I want to project forward is that democracy entails having the really alignment with the people you represent and also speaking on their behalf. And this means that your expression and what you voice or what you represent resonate with what they think. But recently, if you check very well, you find out that most of these deflections are somehow not really connected with the people that they represent, or there is this disconnect between them and the people they represent. But I want to say that for democracy to flourish and be very effective, be able to also represent the interests of our people, there is this need for us to always work with what our people think will work better. And if we do that, that will give us the advantage of providing the dividends of democracy for the people we represent.
Now, for the defections or the defection happening from the state level, and we can immediately cite Delta State in this instance, a lot of talk is to the effect that the ruling party has weaponized the EFCC, to compel this defection, particularly with the case of the former governor. But for the case of National Assembly members, what are you hearing? And that's, in the realm of allegation, by the way. What are you hearing in the case of National Assembly members? Why this mass defection? What is being dangled? Or are there threats as well? Or is it the fact that, they're trying to secure their election, in their re-election in 2027?
Thank you, Buka. I want to say that some of this deflation has alignment, because you understand better that in the context of Nigerian democracy, most of the representatives and the senators, the representative at every level, has one way or the other in line with, shall I say, their stakeholders and their partners that they do the politics all together. And if you check what is happening right now, you will agree with me that some of the deflation, most especially at the House of Representative level, has some alignment with stakeholders that they believe in, and some also has alignment with local. As I said earlier, politics is local. So maybe some of this alignment also has to do with the context, the locality where individuals are coming from, and they feel that the better alliance, the better chances for them to be able to maybe win the next election, or maybe to attract development to their constituencies and others. So the reasons and the motivation can vary from one place to another, but at the House of Representatives level, I believe that from the discussion that have been going on the ground is that some are deflecting due to the local politics in their area. Some are deflecting because there is a disconnect between them, and so many other reasons that I may not be able to factor all, but I believe that most of the deflections are reflecting what happens in their locality. But just to put it across, that I think time have come that Nigeria have begin to see that for us to strengthen democracy and to grow our democracy, there is this need for us to have an ideology. This ideology must represent the interests of our people. And both the ruling and the opposition party must understand that we are all partners in making Nigeria better. Therefore, we must strengthen the way we do our politics, the way our democracy can move. Because if we don't have any ideology attached to what we are doing, that it means that it will be difficult for us to hold even leaders accountable. Because these deflections can and will weaken sort of what is happening in the opposition.
Right.
It can make it very weak in such that it doesn't have that cohesion to hold even the ruling party accountable to the interests of the masses. And therefore, I feel that there is this need for us to reflect deeper and see how we can reposition our democracy and ensure that our democracy represents the interests of the masses and interests of our people.
Well, Honorable, you are the only PDP lawmaker in Borno State. Others are from the ruling APC. So should we be surprised if you then choose to join the APC?
Kayode, thank you for this. I want to put it to you that, just as I put it earlier, that democracy has, you have to look at the context, you have to look at the locality where you're coming from. And being the only PDP in Borno State has given me that kind of motivation that your people are interested in what you do, how you represent them, and what you attract for your constituency. But however, I want to say that my interest here is to be able to attract development for my people and to be able to be the voice that the people count on. My election was one of elections that you will agree with me that the people have really put in their best. And that's why somehow they call me the people's mandate, because the people take out all their time to ensure that I come here. So my participation in democracy depends entirely on the interests of the people. So I can only resonate and also work entirely directly with what my people want. If my people feel that we can do better things ahead, then we will look at it and look at the angle that we can realign and align. But I want to tell you that with what is happening in Nigeria, we are taking time to strategically look at what is happening and look at what are the best approach to come with. But we must make sure that the interests of our people supersede any other interests. And any direction we are to take will entail that this is the direction that our people want, and this is the direction that we can be able to achieve the aim of providing equality and inclusive representation for our people. Of course, the political party that ones will have to achieve this aim does not mean much, but it entails what do we have for our people and how can we make sure that we deliver what our people want.
So if the political party doesn't mean much, that means that you're saying that really ideology is not a thing. All the political parties probably have the same ideology. But I'm interested in what the APC may be promising you. Are they promising you re-election? Is it more projects? Is it more visibility in that sense? Or is it a bigger position? What are the things that the APC has placed on the table that is making you consider? You and the people now, because I know you added the people.
So, thank you, Kayode. Sorry. Earlier I said what we need to do is to have a strong party of ideology. And at this stage of our democracy, I don't want to rush to say that we don't have people that believe in ideology. But I said that you have to connect to the locality, to the context. If my people are interested in the representations that we have provided and we want to forge ahead, we will have to look at it. What is the best approach to be able to work out this? And for me, I think the ruling party does not necessarily have to put anything on the page, but I'm looking at it that deep down my people prefer being in a line that can provide also room to be able to provide that representation without hindrance. And there's no this conversation on table. There's no conversation on table what for the political, the ruling party to provide anything on the table for us. We are talking with our people in our locality, and I think if I get their voice very clear, the voice is that we should look at bigger things, something big that we think that Nigerian interests can be protected much better. And that is what we stand for.
Honorable Balami,
rush. Yes.
It looks like you're avoiding, and I understand. It looks like you're not trying to answer my question while trying to answer it at the same time. But you've said it. If your people say join the APC, you will join the APC, right? So speak to us about that potential. Should we be surprised if and when you join the APC? When should we be expecting it? Is it something you're keeping close to the election period, or you want to give yourself time? That's really the question. Should we be surprised, or you're not considering it at all?
So if you are aware of the trend and all that has been happening, you will find out that the PDP, where I belong to, is trying to reject the party and are trying to work out modality to make sure that the PDP come out very, very, very strong.
Yeah.
And beside that, you also look at it that there are options of coalitions where every parties are trying to come together also to provide a platform. So I'm trying to put it on a ground that you should understand that there are many platforms that we can achieve our interests with our people. So when I said my people would decide, I did not entail to say that we are looking at what the ruling party or what else. But I believe that having won on the platform of opposition and looking at how the feelings of my people, I believe that they want something bigger that represent the yearning and aspiration of Nigerians. I want to tell you that if the ruling party have performed very well today, you will see that most of these deflections would reflect some level of joy and happiness in the constituency. But sometimes you see people deflecting to the ruling party, and when you look at the locality they are coming from, that happiness or that kind of feelings that when people deflected, that comes with is not there, and it's not it is not resonating. It's not a kind of showing that the people are so much happy that their representatives have deflected. So for me, it's the way you say it, but the way I say it is that we stand with the PDP for now, and then we look at what are the options that are coming, but something big that we believe that will represent the interests of our people is the direction that we are going to take. And that direction will speak for itself when the time comes. And when the times come, we will have that consultation with our people. We came based on a ground that our people sent us here to represent them. And what we have been doing is to listen and work based on what they want. And for that reason, we will have that consultation. We continue to work with our people to say that these are what we have seen. What do you think will work better for us in our locality? And definitely we are going to take that direction. And when we take that direction, we will ensure that if our people stand on the ground that says PDP is repositioning itself, and we feel that the PDP still stand firm to deliver our mandate, then we go with the PDP. If the people find out that there's a better voice that will come up for Nigeria and we feel that we should go there, then we'll be there. But for me, I am not an individual that so much believe. I think my spirit align more with being an opposition, because sometimes when you are an opposition, you are training to strengthen democracy, and we should see ourselves that way, that we are partners in democracy. An opposition, a representative in the opposition parties and the people in the ruling party, we should see ourselves as partners. And in fact, in some clients, people are encouraged to even be in the opposition because we want to hold the ruling party accountable for Nigerians and ensure that things are done to the interests of the masses.
So, Honorable Balami, you have said two things. If your people consider, that you should, field your interests through another party, that then you would. But then you have also said that those who are defecting, one thing is absent from their defection, that is joy, and that impacts on, the performance of the ruling party. I'm just wondering if your tune will not change to a performing ruling party by the time that you defect, if your people decide that you defect. I'm just, wondering. But talk to us about something that is more critical, Honorable Balami, and that is the thinning out of opposition. Already, the National Assembly suffers an image of one that is a rubber stamp of the executive, and now we're witnessing this round of defections, endless seemingly. One will not be surprised if there's another round of defections by next week. Are you worried as a member of the opposition about the impact on this, on legislations, critical legislations that will impact on the people and that may sail through, albeit negatively, because there is no strong opposition?
Bukola, thank you so much for the opportunity again. But just to maybe make this better, for me, earlier I tried to position that the deflections are not reflecting and people are not happy, because for me it's not even a priority. If you look at the critical stage in Nigeria is passing through, the insecurity, the killings, the hunger, the poverty, the lack of social amenities and others. Young people are out there without job. I think these are the priorities that we should put on table. But because of the way we play our democracy, all these things that are supposed to be an area of concern, because this is the time for governance, instead of us to put that priority there, somehow along the line, our people have shifted that priority and now moved to an area of politicking, thinking of deflecting from one party to another. And that is why you see us where we are today. And for me, I want to tell you categorically that I stand with Nigerians. I stand with the masses as a young person. I also stand with the youth out there that are unemployed, people that are looking for a source of livelihood. And that is where my alignment is. But let me put it also that despite these deflections, if you look at the role of legislators, you agree with me that the deflection may not be able to affect legislative activity in the House, because we have come to a time whereby legislators cannot, your political party that you belong to cannot hinder you to project the interests of our people. I can tell you that being an opposition from Borno State has not stopped me to move almost about 8 bills and many other motions that reflect the interests of my people in my constituency and also the interests of Nigerians. So for that reasons, there is framework of accountability that we can work out, and we are working through that can still deliver the dividends of democracy despite the deflections and what has been happening recently.
But Honorable Balami,
Bukola, to be sincere,
hold on there.
if it is narrowed down.
Pardon me there. We have not heard the voice of opposition when the executive presented, supplementary budget. We have not heard the voice of opposition when there were requests for, the obtainment of loans. We have not heard the voice of opposition on other critical issues that the opposition should have, registered its dissatisfaction or displeasure or spoken on the consequences, of actions taken by the executive. So I'm trying to understand you when you say that it will not impact on presentation of bills. It goes beyond presentation of bills to issues of national scale like appropriations.
So let me put it this way, that the voice have always been there, but as you are already aware, sometimes the minority always have their voice, but the majority, they find a way to have their way. But that does not mean that they were not checked and balanced. In most of some of the request for loan and then the request for supplementary and others, it has always gone through a vigorous debate, and most times it has to go through voting processes that have given advantage to the ruling party. But I want to tell you that the opposition party members have been doing their best somehow. But as you said, I will want to acknowledge too that the opposition have recently been very weak, and some of the reasons why the opposition have been weak have to, if you trace it, you look at it that far back, even when the House was constituted, there a lot of struggle for us to reposition the opposition to be able to provide that opposition that Nigeria wants. But I will tell you that a lot of work is undergoing, and we are working among ourselves to see how can we reposition and put the opposition on the right pedestal to be able to provide that opposition that Nigerians want. And that will have to provide that check and balances where you see that the opposition lawmakers will be able to stand with what Nigeria want, to continue to struggle to defend the interests of the masses and the yearning of the masses. That will be an area that we will continue to strengthen. But as you rightly put it, I want to acknowledge that opposition recently have been very weak, and this will maybe this is also in line with the deflections we have earlier talked about. But we that are still remaining will continue to talk and continue to see how we can strengthen the opposition. But I will tell you that before the election, Nigeria will find a way to come up with opposition that can provide that robust or role of opposition that Nigeria really deserves.
Well, at this rate, with the defections, maybe we'll have to look for an opposition within the APC, maybe have a little wing, because as has been said time and again, opposition is thinning out. But let's speak about one of the outcomes of governance and why we need to have a vibrant opposition to provide alternative policy ideas to put the government's feet to fire. Your area, Borno State, where you're from, has been under serious attacks of late from terrorists. In fact, I remember, I think it was last year that you moved a motion in the House of Reps about students in your area who couldn't write examinations as a result of security threats. So last week there was an attack in Marte. The week before it was in Gwoza, and we've seen attacks here and there, soldiers, military being at the receiving end, security operatives at the receiving end, even the vigilantes also at the receiving end, and the people as well. So what exactly is going on in Borno State? Is government soft peddling? Has it been caught unawares? What exactly is playing out? Because you need to speak to these issues as well, as you have.
Yeah. Thank you, Kayode, for this opportunity. I want to say that it's a great honor, and if you check very well, you hear me saying earlier that for me, Midala Usman Balami representing Askira Bahawul Federal Constituency, the priority shouldn't have been about deflection. Our priority now in Nigeria should have been more focused on the fighting the insecurity, addressing the gap of unemployment and the social amenities that are not there for our people. Last year, we shouted for, most especially for people of Dile, Musa, and others who could not write JAM and others. And thankfully, let me take this opportunity to appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulu, for working assiduously and in collaboration with the stakeholders at the national level. That centers for JAM have already been established as I canvassed for it last time. Now the JAM Center and WIAC Center have been established in Dile and Musa and Lassa, those zones that were prevented from having that JAM Center. But let me say that the insecurity have been escalating, most especially in Borno State and Northeast in general, and this is a very worrisome situation. The executive governor of Borno State, if you recall, last time he sent a very strong appeal to the federal government saying that the situation of the insecurity is deteriorating and there is this need to rejig the security apparatus to ensure that we have not only just effective arms to fight the insurgents, but to ensure that we have a motivated personnel and with the required arms and logistics to be able to fight this insecurity. For me, I think these are the areas of the conversation that the narrative should be on. We should focus more on saving lives. And that is exactly the essence of government. The essence of government is to protect life and property. And if government have failed in this very fundamental constitutional responsibility, the government have to check itself that instead of focusing more on the win opposition makers to deflect to the party, why not deploy resources, deploy all that we require to make sure that the lives and property of our people is saved? This is what I call earlier, that the federal government should put more focus and more attention, support what the state government, most especially Borno state government, is doing to be able to curtail the escalation of this insurgents. You will agree with me that our people are really suffering. In all parts of Borno State now, what we hear almost every day is that the Boko Harams are now resurfacing and they are becoming stronger every day. They are overcoming military stations and taking over and killing a lot of our personals. I will call on the federal government to please support, deploy more security, maybe have more attention on the, and aside even from away from Borno State, you go to the northwest in Sokoto, KB, Zamfara, and all places, you find out that the level of insecurity in Nigeria is becoming worrisome. So the federal government, instead of worrying and promising opposition lawmakers, they should put their resources out there and all the necessary apparatus and all that we require in terms of logistics to be able to fight these insurgents and then the insurgencies and the insecurity across Nigeria. Let's first of all settle and make Nigeria working better. Then we can, maybe by next year or so, when the time is right, then we can talk about politicking. But for now, let's put the attention of providing a quality, good governance that will ensure that our people are alive and their property is protected and nobody feel that you are far away or you remain an IDP in your country, but you have that sense of belonging, that you have a governance. You have government that protect you, government that provide that fine first line of constitutional responsibility of ensuring that you are alive and nothing touch you in your country. I think, Kayode, this is the area the federal government should be focusing more on it, and they should be talking with all the state government and other stakeholders to ensure that we have a country, first of all, in place before we can talk about politicking.
Is this a failing of security Is this a failing of intelligence? Is this just the insurgents getting more powerful? Because where they're using drones now, is there an international angle to this? Maybe let's have better insight. So again, Nigerians will know how to approach this in terms of putting pressure on government, even supplying intelligence and all of that.
Thank you, Kyle. I think there is a lot to be done in terms of intelligence gathering and in terms of how our team should work together, provide that kind of harmonization across the military, the police, the army, the navy, and all of that. I think that there is this need to have that level of collaboration and harmonizations that we have to work closely. And you will agree with me that if you look at where the insecurity, the insurgents are brewing and are becoming stronger, it has to do with our borders. So there is this need for Nigeria to actually also collaborate with our bordering countries. I think there is that need for us to have that strong level of collaboration, because in the past, when that level of collaboration is very cohesive, it's become a very difficult for the insurgents to strengthen themselves. But recently, you find out that our collaboration with Chad, Niger, other bordering countries that in the past have been supporting very well has been weakened, and that is that need for us to revisit that area, find a way where we can have those very strong collaborations, have a very effective way of intelligence gathering. And we have to be able to fast track those. If you have even intelligence gathering, that level of communication among our different, the army, the navy, and all of that has to be strengthened so that we'll be able to really address this issue of insurgency. Because for me, what I see that the gap there is there is high need for us to have a kind of more support to our military personnel out there, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and all of that. They need to have more in terms of, should I put it, logistics support and resources to be able to have technologically advanced armory that will be able to fight these insurgents. If the insurgents have now begun to use drone, then we as a country should have more sophisticated drones that can be deployed that will reduce the loss of lives of our personnel, but we will also be able to now put up the fight using sophisticated drones that can go down deep to the enclave of the insurgents and be able to deal a big blow to the enclave. And I want to put it also that beside the kinetic approach, I say sometimes about there is this need for us to also begin to look at non-kinetic approach. And those non-kinetic approach has to do with providing opportunities for the unemployed young people out there to reduce available tools by the insurgents that they can recruit them at ease. We must empower our young people to have something to do, and that is where the role of government have come in to provide that which is needed for our people to be engaged and have source of livelihood to provide for their family, and will be unavailable for recruitment into any source of criminality or insurgents.
You know, Honorable Bellamy, you talk about kinetic approach. We could also ask the National Assembly, which has an oversight function, about why, you know, the armed forces do not have adequate equipment to fight insurgency if, you know, reports are to the effect from, you know, the battlefield that the insurgents have more sophisticated weapon than the armed forces. If those reports are anything to go by, because the National Assembly has oversight responsibility over the budget of the armed forces. Don't answer that. That's a bait for you to return to talk to us more about these issues. We must thank you so much, Dr. Midala Bellamy. He's the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Communications. Thank you so much, Honorable Bellamy, for your time and thoughts on the program. All right, from there, we'll relax on the tough issues and look at some other interesting subject matters that affect your heart. So stay with us, we'll be right back.